so there was popping up windows all the time in the low corner. So
Nice. It's okay, we got it.
yeah,
Okay. So so you were teasing about the fact that that everybody mispronounces your name and that you're going to properly educate
yeah,
me before we started.
yeah. Uh, I have figured it out myself, but I can say it first. It's Janne.
Janne.
Yeah,
Okay.
bit longer N, double N or triple N for you in the middle.
Janne.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. I'm gonna attempt to say it right. And this is exactly now that like because I think we're up to like 17 different countries that you guys
Yeah,
hail from between all the different cohorts. So that's why I always call you guys love and sweetie.
yeah,
Oh, hey, love. You know, then I don't have to worry about it.
yeah.
No, but that's good. That wasn't nearly as difficult. I was really
Yeah,
interested. I
I
guess
was actually
you get
surprised
Jane
at
a
first.
lot. To get
Yeah,
Jane and John. Yeah.
yeah. And also, I think few Canadians call it like Channy or something like that. Like
Yeah.
with yeah,
Okay. Good. Okay. Well, good. Okay. So, so, Yanni, are
yeah,
you ready for your level 4? Because I'm
yes,
super excited.
yeah.
Okay. So you're going to go up to the top left, and you're going to click on the little green screen share button, and then you'll just select whatever you want to use to show your images.
Okay. Well, yeah. I think I can share those from the
You can share them right from the Google group if you want.
yeah. Let's share. Can I share the whole screen first?
Mhm.
Then I need to go to here. I don't know. Can you see my screen now?
I can just
Okay. Yes.
minimize your chats then? Or, well, I guess it doesn't matter once we pull them
Yeah.
up. Perfect. Okay,
Okay. Let's go with the first one here.
great. Okay, so you're going to tell me a little bit about creating the image and what you like and what you don't, and then I'm going to give you some feedback and then grade you on a scale of 0 to 3.
Yeah. So I was aiming here bit to the, let's say, high key image, and I think I managed to do it quite well. But then in the look at this screen, I am now having it really bad. But at least in my other screen, I was able to see that there is lots of like the background light. First of all, it's not like even. It has some I don't know, some kind of muddy feeling in my calibrated screen. But
Mm.
anyway, there was just white paper background, and then if I remember right, I had a wait a minute, I had uh, I think it was octalight as a main light. I'm not absolutely sure about that, but I think that was it. And then two lights from other side of her to the background, like from both sides to the background. And
Okay.
then I think there was also one strip light. If I'm looking at her bum, I think there was also one strip light on her left side, or on the left side of in the picture.
Okay. I love the lighting in it. I think it's beautiful. I think if you're seeing some muddiness, to keep in mind that some of that happens with the way that it crops and resizes the photos every time you upload
Yeah,
it onto a different platform. Because I noticed like my images look much closer, you know, on Google than they do on Facebook than they do on Twitter. Like every different
yeah,
medium I share them in, they'll look a little bit different on each just because of those settings. Um, but I think the lighting's beautiful here. I love the shadow and how it accentuates the line of her shoulder and along her collarbone. I love that we kept all the detail in her hair. She's looking all kinds of sassy in the red. We lose just a little bit, I think, because it's so red and saturated, that the red of the gloves on her body, we kind of just lose the visual. They kind of meld into each other. So
Yeah,
we might
that's
have
that's
just
right.
we might have just overkilled just a little bit. I think I would have been inclined to let her take the gloves off, if she was having her hands on her body and her dress,
Yeah.
just to keep the separation there. But it's also not entirely a deal breaker for me. Gloves are like one of those things that if they don't fit perfectly on them, I think that they tend to make the hands seem a little bit bulky. Um,
Yeah.
I'd have been inclined to sit her back a little bit further, so that we could have seen a little bit more of the far arm as well, her left arm and hand. Um,
Yeah, it's almost hidden behind her body.
yeah, so it's like an unintentional amputation visually. There's a couple of stray hairs. There's like one that comes out in the front on her left hand side, really far away from the rest of the hair that I would have probably cropped out. And there's one that's coming down her arm and then behind her
Ah,
arm
yeah. Yeah.
on her back. I'd want to just clean those up a little bit.
Yeah.
Um, the one thing that really bothers me is that I'm guessing she's wearing nylons or pantyhose, and they are not the same color as her body. So there's a really stark color difference between her legs and her arms and upper body. Um,
Yeah, that's also correct. I even haven't thought about it.
yeah,
About this.
so that bothers me visually, but I think that that would be easy enough to go in and post and select and just turn down the
Yeah.
color and the saturation a little bit and try to match those up, because it's really stark. It looks like she went out and tanned just the lower half of her body.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and
No,
common sense tells you that she's probably just wearing nylons that just weren't the right color, but because they're nude skin color nylons in the visual picture, it just creates a little bit of a severing between the top half and the lower half of her body.
yeah,
Um,
especially she's looking, at least in this screen, very like pale on top of her body. So it's
yeah,
very light, almost white in this screen, and then
exactly.
brown, brown
Um,
in the legs. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the biggest visual hiccup for me that I would definitely want to see you go in and touch up a little bit just to see if you could even that out just a little. But overall, I think it's a really beautiful photograph. There's a couple of things that you could do that I think would really send it over the top and probably score a 3. But for me right now, as it is, I'm going to give you a 2 for it,
Okay.
which is good. That means it's a good photo.
Yeah. Thanks.
Okay, next one.
Yes. Uh, okay. That thingy is hiding the. Okay. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay, tell me about this one.
Well, here uh, my aim was to make this, like I said in the text there, my aim was to try out this kind of old style Hollywood kind of lighting that you, at least here in Finland, we call that there should be shadow that looks a bit like butterfly under the nose.
Hmm.
So I think, is it loop lighting, or I don't know. I don't remember the English name for it, but anyway.
We we call it butterfly lighting. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So same thing. So that was the main aim, main with the lightning. I was a bit having trouble with her with the posing, and that's my main trouble, like most of the time anyway. But in this case, especially, she had quite bad posture. Is it posture? Yeah. So that she, how do I say it? She quite often didn't stand like really straight and that kind of thing, but more like bending herself,
Kind of hunching over.
kind of collapsing. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was the issue. But I was really happy with the light in this case as well. That the hair has quite nice light in there, and the hair is separated from the background, which was, if I remember right, it was black in this case, and added just light to make it bit more grayish.
Mm.
But then, yeah, I wasn't using yet the frequency separation here, so I think I was blurring the skin quite much
Okay.
with the airbrushing technique or something like that, and it could be bit, or it could have bit more texture if I was post-processing it today. So that was my concern.
Mm. I love this image. I think it's beautiful. As far as her uh, not having the best posture, there's a few little things you can do. One of the biggest ones, if you're trying to slim them down and have them go, is that if she wants to stay like this, either because she doesn't hold herself straight or if you have someone that's unable, having them actually lean towards you,
Yeah,
even if they're hunched over, by having them lean towards you, it changes the perspective that you have. So it gives the illusion that they're sitting up straight, even if they're not, just
yeah,
because of the angle that you're at. The other thing that kind of naturally does that, if she's not inclined to sit up straight and pull her shoulders back, and this is something that I would have critiqued anyway, you always want to put a little bit of separation between the limbs and the main part of the body. So by having her take this shoulder and pull it back, if you would have had the hands on the
yeah.
back, it forces her shoulders back just because of the way that the body works. So even if she sits like this, having her pull that back and then lean forward would again have totally changed the posing with it.
Yeah.
But I don't think that that's necessarily a problem. It does, the good thing about having the shoulders back and down is that it elongates the neck, which makes women look more slender, and we always love it when you make us look more slender.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So that's definitely a plus, but I think wherever the very, very small and subtle flaws of the pose are, you more than made up for in the composition and the lighting.
Mm.
The only place that we lost any of the detail with the hair is right across the front of her brow. It's a little bit dark right there, but 80% of it we can see all the texture and the detail of it
Okay.
in, and it's extremely rare to be able to master and nod towards the sort of old Hollywood glamour lighting. Everybody adds to that and crutches on the idea of making the photos black and white to give the illusion of it being an older image, and you really, really nailed it with the lighting here. Her eyes are just stunning the way that they pop, and she has kind of a baby face, so you lit it perfectly to accentuate bone structure that isn't very prominent naturally on her. Which is just exceptionally, exceptionally well done composition and lighting on your part. So this one scores a very high 3. I really don't have much critique to offer you, and this is a very beautiful, simple portrait that shows lighting mastery for me.
Okay. That's good to hear. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I
So
was
well
really
done.
happy. This was, I think I took it like, was it 2013 end of it or early 2014, and it was definitely my
I see
favorite
why.
set.
It's
Yeah.
beautiful image. Yeah. Well done. All right,
Yeah.
next one.
Thank you. Uh, yeah, this was kind of yeah, I was this was this client was actually approaching me after she got recommendations about me from her friends that I shot their weddings like previous summer, and she wanted to have pregnancy pictures of the coming baby.
Mm.
And it was kind of first time that with real client I did some like like let's say like custom light. Oh, okay, I take always do custom lighting, but in this case, I really try to make kind of artistic lighting or artistic feeling
Mm.
to her, and yeah, if I remember right, I had a strip light on the left and likely softbox on her right side.
Okay. Um, this is beautiful. It looks like a painting. I love this shot. Lighting is very much your strong point, and if you are going to have a strong point in photography, lighting is the one to have. Photography literally translates to light writing, and you're doing it very masterfully. I love the way that the fabric looks and how it has this sort of oil painting kind of feeling to the texture, and how we get all this information in the detail and folds of the fabric without it competing with her, for your focus visually.
Yeah.
She's very serene. It's a beautiful, beautiful pose. I love that we have just enough separation in her arms to add a little bit of light in between her arms and her midsection so that we get that separation from her back,
Mm.
even though the fabric is there. My only suggestion for improvement is that I tend to try to create some asymmetry with the hands. So having both of her hands perfectly positioned parallel becomes a little monotonous, and just having her shift so that one was on top and one was underneath the belly, or just bringing one up to the side, just stagger them just a little, just to create a little bit of visual interest in the image, so it isn't
Yeah.
quite so symmetrical. Um, I think if you had brought it up and kind of rested it on top, we would have got some of the arm too, and it wouldn't just be the hand coming out of the darkness.
Yeah. Yeah. I had quite many pictures where she had the other arm on top of the belly, but actually I could also ask from you that I usually let the clients select the pictures, and she selected this one for her. So I don't know, should I make more, or should I affect more about that? What kind of that? What pictures she should select, or kind of limit the selection to the really good ones, so that maybe even this picture wouldn't be in that kind of
I,
draft
I,
selection.
yeah, no, I think this is a beautiful, beautiful portrait. I totally understand why the client would select this. This is still scoring a 3 for me. It's still an excellent image. Um,
Yeah.
to answer your question, um, what I usually do with my sessions is after they're done, they do a viewing session right after. Like they see the photos 45 minutes after we take them.
Yeah.
Um, I go down and load them and go through them first, and I get rid of any one that I don't want everywhere, because you never know which photo of yours is going to be the one that goes viral or is seen by everyone. So I want to make sure it's one that I want to be known for.
Yeah.
Um, so I go through and I will cut any of the photos that I wouldn't want in my portfolio, so she can only pick the ones that I already like. Um,
Yeah.
and that, go ahead.
Yep.
Okay. So usually I'll take about somewhere around like 100 to 150 photos in a session. And I'll narrow that down to probably 50 to 75, and then she chooses usually somewhere between 20 and 30 of those for her final selection. But I always do the first cut. So that may work for you as well, but I would not be upset about her picking this one at all. It's a beautiful photograph.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
All right, next one.
Next one. This is actually quite recent shot. I think it was taken about a month ago. And when I opened my studio in January 2012, the guy on the left side was my first client, and actually I got the booking I got already before he was even born. So his mom's godmother wanted to buy a gift card that when the guy on the left is born, they can have a picture taken, and now it was time to take picture of the guy on the right side. So it's actually quite nice that I have now photographed them both,
Mm-hmm.
and it's also nice to see how the kids grow, and yeah, it was like 3 years. 3 years, like he's 3 years old now, and the little guy is about 1 year. So I hope they will come someday in the future as well.
That's awesome.
But yeah, to the picture, the main light was about 60 times 80 centimeters softbox with a grid.
Uh-huh.
Then I had a gray background, and then one, I think, yeah, one strobe with the honeycomb or with the grid to the background, and then one strobe with the grid on the right side towards the kids, like a hair light from the, yeah, about 45 degrees angle from the far right back. Yeah. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, but
Um,
from the right side, yeah.
so lighting is definitely your strength. And it's not for a lot of people. You definitely have a very good understanding of your lights and where they should be to be the most flattering for your clients. So this is a beautiful photograph, technically speaking, but the expression is what makes this, and that is what is lacking from a lot of children's photography. Because as beautiful as it is in the composition and the lighting, if they were sitting there stoic and not interacting or not looking at you, the photograph would have been lost. It's the emotional connection that really makes this image.
Yeah.
And you have it with both of them. Like looking at the older brother makes me want to laugh as soon as I see it, and the younger one makes me want to aw. That's exactly the reaction you're going for. Because anytime a mom goes aw, she's buying the photo. Like that's making you money right there.
Yeah.
Um, and I love that because it's such a beautiful image from a photographic standpoint that it works as heirloom quality. But it's so genuine in their expression that every time the mom looks at this, anytime anybody that knows those little boys looks at this, they can hear him laugh. Because that's exactly the face he makes when he's laughing. And I think that that is a connection that also makes the photographs matter more. And I I love people photography for this reason, because someday, long after you and I aren't here and these guys have their own children and grandchildren, someone will look at this picture and it will be their grandfather and their great uncle,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know? And
Yeah.
you'll have made that for them, and I think that's a really incredible thing as a photographer, and it's very well done. So this one's got beautiful light. It's good composition. You nailed the expression. This one's getting a 3 too.
Okay. Thank you.
Well done. All right. One
And
more?
yeah, this is also quite recent picture. Uh, Background about her is that she is kind of she's having a disease that affects the nerve system in her body, and she can barely walk anymore.
Mm.
She came with a wheelchair, and she can actually take just a few steps, so the legs are not supporting her anymore. But still, she had like really great attitude, and she wasn't at least showing any like regret that she cannot move anymore. But yeah, the light is here pretty much the same as in the picture before with the boys. I think now looking at the picture, the hair light is probably a bit too bright. It's the hair is almost white, at least in this crappy laptop screen. But the eyes sort of like the pose. I'm not sure about the other arm. I think I wrote it also there. The right arm is cut, but it probably could have been in the top of the chair, and maybe she could have leaned a bit more towards the screen or towards the camera, but overall I'm also quite happy about this.
I would be too. It's a beautiful photograph. The arm doesn't necessarily bother me. We did kind of crop it, but rather than having her arm forward, if you didn't want to pull it up and on top of the chair, just having her pull that elbow back so that it was just on the shoulder, I think would have taken care of it too, so that it didn't look amputated. The light
Yeah,
on her is beautiful. I like the hair light. It is a little bit bright just around the edging, but I'd rather it be bright and sever from the background than blend in.
yeah,
So it's not a negative for me.
okay.
Um, I I I do kind of want you to go in and just touch up just a few of the stray hairs because you did such a good job at highlighting them
Yeah,
that the strays and the flyaways really, really stand out. But that's really nitpicking at the photo. The light on her shoulder is beautiful. This lovely sculpture, a shadow, and then the highlight on the edging is just exceptional. And there are little details like that that a lot of people don't pay attention to. I love the shadows on her cheekbones. I think they're really gorgeous. It's just really, really flattering portrait light for her. Her wrist is just a little bit awkward, and it's only because her hand is actually coming closer to the
yeah,
lens than her face. So if you had pulled that back just a little bit so that it was under her chin, so that her chin was still more forward, it would have made a huge difference to have her chin the closest thing rather than the hand, because then the hand starts to compete with the face and it makes it look bigger than it is just
yeah,
because of the
yeah.
perspective. Um, but again, I'm nitpicking. I'm looking for things that are wrong because it's a beautiful photograph, and this one's still good enough that I think at a little level for critique that it's a 3 image. So I'm gonna have a lot of fun beating on you at level 9 and 14 when I get to start being really, really tough with them.
Okay. Yeah.
I think that is the most threes ever scored in a level 4 critique though. So
Okay.
that's pretty impressive. I love it.
That's
I love the styling and the cheesecake feeling. I love her expression. I love the light that you catch in the eyes. Like they're all really, really good. Well
okay.
done.
Yeah. This actually here is also I have been using, let's say, my like
Okay.
current post-processing method. So it's frequency separation and then dots burning, making the forehead and the cheekbones bit brighter than they were in the picture, and then also darkening the shadow area that you mentioned.
Hmm.
So burning that down just a bit that it kind of
Yeah.
really brings those bones visible.
Yeah, and it totally can, but this is the perfect example of using Photoshop to accentuate what you got right in camera just to make it pop. Like you can fake it a lot, but you can also tell that you understand your lighting and your camera really well. So
Yeah.
Photoshop becomes like makeup. You know, when it's well done, it accentuates all the good features. When it's not well done, it's used to just cover up and over accentuate, and you don't do that. All of yours is very, very tasteful and very subtly done, um, which I think is really beautiful. So, bravo.
Yeah, thank you. That's
Okay,
very nice to hear.
so you can turn off the screen share.
Yes, if yeah, I can if I can.
So
Yeah.
if you scream
Oh yeah,
into the
there.
actual
Yeah.
thing, there you go. Okay. Um, so we're at level 4 now. You and I have been connected for a couple of years now,
Yeah, I think
via
so.
Facebook.
Yeah, I was actually thinking that where did we first kind of meet? And it probably was in the About Photography group that is led by Ed uh, Verowski, Ed, New York-based photographer.
Okay.
I'm not sure, but that was my like hunch that maybe it was Ed Verowski's group, the About Photography group in
Okay.
Facebook. Might be not, but anyway,
I don't
yeah,
know, but
yeah,
however we cross paths, I'm glad that we connected online. Um,
yeah.
so what is it that you're looking for in the Arcanum and in connecting here with me? What's your overall goal?
Well, uh, like I briefly mentioned before, that my biggest problem is kind of okay. Maybe the biggest problem is actually the not trusting myself or my skills. So I'm underestimating my skills and my pictures, and then maybe this kind of critique really like from professionals like yourself and the others in the Arcanium helps me to really like realize that okay, I do have the skills needed to be a great or even good photographer, but I don't know, just like I want to I don't know, I want to also learn kind of the somehow the posing is the hardest part for me, that I know when I see something that it's pleasing my eye, but to how to get there, that's the problem. Sometimes the model, for example, she makes it possible, but I would like to be the one that kind of gives the instructions that okay, this is how I want that to be, or I
Okay.
want her to be in the picture or him to be in the picture. So maybe looking forward that kind of things, that how to get the idea from my head to the picture in the camera.
Hmm. Okay.
Helping with that. Uh, Also, I'm really interested about the business side, or I should be really interested, since that has been my definitely the hardest part so far. So I have been raising the prices, I have been lowering the prices. I don't know what is the right price for my work, and it doesn't help when you are not valuing your work, so you
Hmm.
put a lower price for that, and then probably some people won't get in touch because they think that okay, that guy has so low prices that it can't be good, and that kind of thing. So yeah, like
I
in background about the studio, that I was studying photography, kind of professional photography, or this kind of in vocational or adult training, and the training or education was almost ending in 2000. It ended 2012, and in end of 2011 I got the idea that okay, now it's time to open a studio, but I didn't have any business plan. I didn't have like any idea how to run a studio. I just wanted a studio,
Okay.
and that's the that's the problem as well, that I didn't really plan that how it should run and how it should pay itself at least.
Okay. So is photography what you're doing full time, or do you have another job?
I have another job, so that of course is a problem as well. So,
Okay. Is the idea to give that job up and do photography full time?
well, that's a good question.
In an ideal scenario,
Yeah,
do you
yeah.
like the job that you're at?
Well, I sort of like it, but I would really enjoy the photography more.
Okay. So if
I'm,
I was
yeah,
if what you're getting paid at your job right now, if I was to top that and send you that plus $1,000 every month, would you quit your job right now?
so could you repeat?
If I was gonna whatever you make at your
Yeah,
job right
yeah.
now, if I was gonna send you that plus $1,000 every single month for the rest of your life, would you stay at your job or would you quit?
I would quit.
Okay, so if I was gonna send you that money every month, would you still pick up your camera or would you do something else with it?
Well, I might do something else as well.
Okay.
So
Okay. Well,
I,
that's
yeah,
that's the question. If you didn't have to work, if you didn't have to make money, if money wasn't an issue and didn't have to be part of the thought process, how do you want to spend your time?
yeah.
What is it that you really love doing?
Hmm. I think traveling around the
Okay.
world and actually photographing while I'm traveling as well. And actually, I started my photography with landscapes and with travel photos, and I really like those as well, taking those
Okay.
as well. But I think the case is that you can't live with those here at least. If you are like selling travel photos, you cannot make living. That's my guess.
Um,
So
so the guy that started the Arcanum, Trey Ratcliffe, you know that all he does is
yeah,
travel and take pictures of places, and he's extremely financially successful.
yeah,
So So we're gonna have to agree that you're wrong.
yeah. Seems
Um,
so. Yeah,
so do you photograph people because you think that that's an easier way to make money or because you really love it?
I really love it.
Okay. So do you love landscapes and that kind of stuff as much, or are you a people photographer?
Hmm.
It can be both.
Yeah, I think I enjoy both, and I even enjoy like taking pictures of houses and buildings. I even enjoy taking macro photos. I enjoy taking what was I thinking? Yeah, animal photos. I enjoy taking everything,
Okay.
but most most I get from the people and from the landscapes.
Okay. Um, okay, so traveling and photographing is what you would do with your time. So I'm a big, big believer. I just talked about this during Photo Ignite. Time is your most valuable currency. Time is worth more than money because
Yeah,
however much of it you amass between now and your last day, whenever that is, you're not taking it with you.
Mm.
You can always make more money, but you do not get your time back. So if you're not in love with the job that you have, then I definitely think that building, the business side of it for you would be a good thing so that you can spend your time doing something that's worthwhile to you and financially supporting your life, because it has to be both.
Mm.
How does
Yeah,
that sound?
it sounds good.
Okay. Okay. Um, so we're halfway through the foundation spheres. And basically what we're doing right now is this is us kind of getting acquainted and seeing where you're at. I'm telling you that you have an incredible amount of talent coming in from the beginning. Um, you're one of the most accomplished photographers I've seen in terms of understanding lighting with portraiture for not doing this full time as your business. So I don't think that your artistry needs that much attention. I see a consistency in your style.
Mm.
I see a working knowledge of your lighting and your camera settings, and I see you connecting with the models, which are the three big pieces of doing any kind of portrait photography. So any success that you're not seeing in terms of photography business is not coming from a lack of ability and talent with the photography. It's self-admittedly coming from a lack of confidence and ability to see. Not, I don't think to see the value. I think that you can see the potential for greatness in your photographs. I think that you're having a little bit of a hard time feeling okay admitting the fact that you're really good, because
Yeah,
that comes off as egotistical or conceited, but it's not. False modesty is just another way of lying. And
yeah, yeah.
so if you need me to be in your head that you're good enough to do this, then I will do that, and I will keep telling you that, and I will get more aggressive as we go on, and
Yeah, yeah.
then we'll stop accepting the, well, I guess I'm kind of good enough. No, you're good. You're good.
Okay.
You know, if you don't see and express that value, and if you're not able to see the potential and the greatness in what you do, how can you convince anybody else to see it?
That's true.
So that's what's holding you back.
Yeah.
Um, so what I'd like to do is finish going through the rest of the foundation sphere and do a little bit more self-discovery, kind of get you more acquainted with what it is that you want to accomplish, and then we'll meet again at level 9, do another round of critiques, and then for sphere 1, we'll build you a custom sphere map that's based around monetizing all of this talent that you have.
Yeah.
But for the next 5 levels, to get you to that point, I'm just going to beat on you anytime that you're not being self-confident.
That's good.
So, good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so questions, comments, concerns, things you wanted to talk about while you had one-on-one time.
Uh, so, if I remember right, you started your business like just a few years ago, or is
Yep.
that correct? Yeah. So, how did you like end up to be a full-time photographer? And
That's really easy. I don't have your problem with modesty. Nobody accuses me of being humble anymore. Um,
okay.
I knew what I wanted to do, but I'm also the kind of person that I can't do something that I'm not passionate about.
Yeah.
Um, I wither. I really do. Like I couldn't do it. I couldn't be at a job because it was making me money. That's never a good enough reason. And I've given that up even in photography. I was doing really well here. The average wedding photographer around me makes 2 to 3 thousand, and we were bringing in 8 to 12 thousand. And I walked away from weddings 2 years ago because I just wasn't on fire for it anymore. Um,
Yeah.
so picking up a camera for me, which I only did 6 years ago now, um, it was like painting with instant gratification. It was the same kind of
Mm.
feeling, except for when I would paint, it would take me months and months to complete a single piece. And a photograph, I can go and shoot and then edit one of the images all in the same day. So I like that because patience is not a virtue I naturally possess. Um, and I think that a lot of it too was that I just approached the business side very differently. So I didn't look at my work, and I think a lot of photographers struggle trying to figure out what they're worth,
Yeah,
and trying to figure out what the value of their art is. And I didn't do that. I approached it from a very detached mathematical standpoint where I looked at what my lifestyle was and how much money I needed to make in order to support that. And then I just backtracked from that. So, for example, if you wanted to make $4,000 a month
Mhm.
and you wanted to shoot once a week, that comes out to about 4 times a week. You need to make $1,000 a session.
Yeah,
You know, it's just math equations. It just breaks down. And then, when you have that bottom line that you understand that that is your minimum, then you build around that. So if we said that you were going to shoot 8 times a month, 8 days out of 30, you're going to spend in the studio with your clients, you're going to make $500 a session. Well, if you're selling them an album and that album is costing you $250 to order from the printer, then you
mm.
need to be charging them $750 to bring that minimum 500 home. So
Yeah,
it's just math, it's just every day. So you have to find a way to monetize that then and go, okay, what is it that I'm offering that they're getting that makes what I'm giving them worth that $750? Well, they're getting these beautiful images and they're getting this custom designed album. And, so I just started building value around that rather than trying to figure out what it was worth,
yeah,
um,
yeah,
in reverse. Does that make sense?
yeah. It does. Yeah,
And then, a lot of it too is just that at a certain point, and I actually think that you're at that point, you don't have to necessarily market and advertise so hard because your artistry will make the argument for you. Like a lot of photographers now are told, you have to find the ideal client and you have to justify your prices and you have to educate your potential clients to understand the value. No, you don't. Your work needs to do that for you. When people love what you do, they will pay you for it. Like people don't even I don't ever have to explain my why most of my clients spend $2,000 to $3,000. I just tell them, you know,
mm.
yes, you can come in. My average client spends $2,500 to $3,500, and one of two things happens. They go, okay, yes, I'll come in, or they go, okay, I can't afford that, and they're out. Like it's one of the two, but it's not a conversation where I'm justifying. If they don't come in, it's not because they don't see the value or don't think it's worth $3,000 for a session. It's because they don't physically have the $3,000 to come in,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
they love the work. Your work is right on par with mine. There's nothing that I'm exhibiting in my work, from a technical standpoint, that you don't already have in yours.
yeah.
So,
And that has been also issue for myself that I have been like trying to like maybe I have been like trying to like just gather clients even they are paying me like lower than they should, but I have still like agreed that okay, I will do it for that price.
yeah, you train your clients how to treat you. So, no matter how good you are, nobody is going to pay you more than what you make them pay you.
Yeah, yeah.
I haven't had any client spend less than $2,000 in the last
Mm,
close to 2 years. But if all of a sudden I said I was going to accept $500, everybody would pay me $500, not because
that's
I'm not
true.
worth the 3,000, but because I'm willing to accept
Yeah,
$500.
that's true.
And I would be the same way. If I can get a $100,000 car and they're going to give it to me for 10 grand, why would I pay them another $90,000?
Mm,
Because it's worth it. You know, so it's the same thing for you. If you're willing to accept less, then you will get paid less.
Yeah.
So that's your fault.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah. Yeah.
And part of that will feed back into your sense of understanding your value. It's not that your clients aren't valuing you, it's that you're having a hard time valuing you and saying that you're worth that.
Yes. Yes.
I think that every time a photographer says, okay, I'll make a bargain, I'll do a discount, I'll accept it for less, what they're saying is, this client validated my fear that I'm not worth what I want to charge.
Yeah.
So don't do that.
I won't.
Okay. Good, because I take away karma points for that nonsense. So
Yeah. I'm writing some notes.
good. But I think you're right on the edge of it. I don't think that you need a lot of education. I think you just need someone to give you a little kick and get you to actually implement what you know you should be doing
Yeah.
and push you to not accept less.
Yeah.
Don't settle. Girlfriends in business, don't settle. That's how it works.
Yeah. Okay.
How are you feeling after your first critique? Are you going to stay? I've scared people away after critique.
Well, I'm going to stay, but
Okay,
of
good.
course I will have a hard time to compete with myself because you gave me so nice points. But
Yeah,
yeah,
good luck keeping that streak up. I can't wait to get a hand on you on level 9.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But I'm quite happy. It was nice to meet you. Like,
Yeah, right?
yeah, like talking to you.
Finally.
Yeah, and
It's only been, what, 3 years?
yeah, yeah, yeah. And I think it was also. I think I saw those wall of same stuff also like ages ago, and that was also something that like kept me like following your things.
You're like,
It was just like such a like different approach than anyone else has done ever.
yeah, subtlety, not my thing.
Yeah, but
Okay, so go in the group, get congratulated on surviving your first critique. I have a habit of making most of the apprentices cry their first one, and you survived, so you're doing good.
and then I'm
Um,
getting some sleep. It's now midnight, so
okay, in that case, go to bed.
yeah,
And I will see you again, and we'll do this at level 9.
yeah.
Cool.
Let's meet then.
Good time.
Thank
All
you.
right, I'll talk to you soon.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye bye.